So, you'll ever just have a piece of media that after you consume it seems to just invade your brain space no matter what you're doing or where you are for the next several months of your life? Well, for me, ever since it came out in mid-February, there's been a cute little rhythm game that came out recently called Rift of the Necrodancer, a spin-off of the rhythm roguelike dungeon crawler game over screen fest that is Crypt of the Necrodancer. So, Ramen, you're thinking, because I'm a psychic and projecting the thought into your head, you must be a big fan of Crypt of the Necrodancer if you've been playing Rift so much that you've got brain rot of it now, right? And I'd say, ha ha ha, no. Before playing this game, I'd heard of Crypt of the Necrodancer, but it was never anything I was dying to play, mainly because everyone I know who has played the game told me that it makes Elden Ring look like Sesame Street. So, how did Rift of the Necrodancer end up on my radar? Well, one of those said friends of mine was streaming the game on Discord, and I watched him play it for approximately about 5 minutes before deciding that I needed this game in my veins. And to that said friend, I say, Godspeed, you lovable German bastard. So, how did this happen? Well, let me yap about this game a bit longer and find out. Honestly, truth be told, the gameplay is very simple. You have 3 DDR-style lanes, and the notes, represented by various fantasy monsters, are moving down the lanes to the beat, every individual beat being represented by this dance floor texture on the lanes. You have 10 hit points, and every time you miss a monster, you lose one of them. You hit 0 hit points, you die. But if you make it to the song's end, you win! Yippee! You are then graded from rank D to rank S+ on your performance, and you get this cute little sticker if you don't miss a single note. You also have some enemies that glow yellow, and if you hit an entire sequence of these glowing enemies, you'll get an amp charge, which you can then carry up to 2 of. When the amp is active, you will be completely invincible, and also the more important part is it doubles your score multiplier.
Hello everybody, my name is Markiplier.
Which normally only goes up to 4 times maximum, but it can now get as high as 8 times, which is pretty crazy. Also, Cadence goes Super Saiyan, which is pretty fun. This is a pretty nice mechanic, because it has 2 major uses depending on your skill level. If you're a new player getting their sorry little ass kicked, this is a good way to face tank a hard part of a song, but to an experienced player, the score multiplier that the amp provides is a chance to get some big funny numbers on their scoreboard. This encourages memorizing the song so that you can activate your amp on a very note-heavy part of the song to optimize your score. And it still remains challenging as missing notes breaks your multiplier even if you are in the amp mode. As mentioned earlier, the notes are represented by various fantasy monsters, and as you'd expect, they all have different rules. Slimes are your standard hit 'em and they die note, skeletons can have shields, which make it so that you have to hit them multiple times in one beat, dragons are your hold note, harpies move 2 spaces in one beat, bats can take multiple hits and jump from lane to lane between those hits, and armadillos can go fuck themselves, and so on. Traps will also sometimes spawn on the lanes that do all sorts of funky stuff, such as move monsters to different lanes, set them on fire, making them move faster, and even just making them invisible. Yeah, I hate those ones a lot. The monsters even have upgraded variations that can make them have a whole bunch of different properties, such as taking multiple beats to be defeated, making their movement speed or patterns change, or making them start run away like the cowards they are until the next monster comes along to back them up, because as you'd expect from skeletons, they have no balls! Memorizing all of this takes time, but once you've got it, the inherent appeal of slapping the hordes of the damned away with your sick-ass guitar skills becomes incredibly addicting, if you ignore the screaming agony of your wrist. Yeah, the only real massive issue with the gameplay is the actual physical damage it will do to your poor wrist. You get used to it the more you play the game. Eventually I reached a point where I once played it for pretty much an entire evening without any issues, but when you're first starting out, your hand will cramp up after like 2 songs. This game will give you the wrist of the Necrodancer because it'll be old and decrepit and it'll be forced to dance for the rest of eternity. Dance, my digits, dance! Yes, this is my Rift of the Necrodancer hand. How could you tell? Rift is nowhere near as hard as the game it's a side dish to, but it can still kick your ass when starting out and offers plenty of higher challenges for someone really looking to tie their fingers into knots. So yeah, that's basically the gameplay, and yeah, it's super fun, if not as truly innovative as Crypt. It's still a cute little spin-off, but I don't think I've really established what grabbed me with this game here, which brings us into our next segment. No, but if I'm being dead ass though, what really made me fall in love with this game at first sight was the art style. Art direction is important, folks, and I'm not talking HD 4K textures that take up 5 million terabytes of space. I'm talking the way you really stylize your game to make it visually stand out, and I cannot stress enough that Rift of the Necrodancer absolutely nails it. There is something about the style of this game that just pops. It's colorful, it's expressive, the line art's really nice, it's so good to look at. And I think the ultimate culmination of everything I love about this game's art design can be summed up in the design of our protagonist, Cadence. I'm a big geek for character design. I love looking at character designs, I love discussing character design, and I like designing OCs as well. Not that anyone cares, but I'll show them off one day, I swear. But there is just something about Cadence's design that just immediately worked the moment I saw it. Cadence's design in Crypt is very good, if a little basic, like it is kind of just like female Link wearing red. Like, it's a solid design, but it doesn't really immediately catch my eye or anything. But this Rift redesign? I love it. It's a combination of a lot of things. For one, I'm a big fan of skeletons as a tool of iconography because of how versatile they are. Skeletons can be creepy, they can be cool, they can be cute, they keep our bodies up, so yeah, shout out to skeletons. And shout out to this expressive little skull pin on Cadence's hair bow thing. I really like it. I love her confident smile as she bops to the music. I love the jacket covered in Crypt's iconography like hearts and the dance floor squares. I like the suspenders she has on that you can totally miss 90% of the time, and I absolutely love the Sonic Heroes-ass color palette she has going on. I would almost call it a flaw that the game wants you to pay attention to the lanes in the center of the screen when peak character design is just off to the left of the screen. Am I overselling what is basically just a blonde woman in a cool jacket? Maybe. But if I'm being honest, I don't care. It's a simple but eye-catching, stylish design that pays tribute to her old one while still doing something new and fresh, and I just really like it, and I want her jacket to be a real thing that I can actually buy with real money and really wear. This is a great character design, and I really want to see more fan art of her as well. Hell, I even contributed my own over on my Blue Sky account. Shameless plug. This is a great design, and I want more fan art of her. Just behave yourselves, alright, lads? It's like, surely there is no way this design could get any better. Well, as a fan of punk, I stand corrected. Oh, and I want this jacket too. I will buy both of them. The rest of the character design is very good too. I'm a big fan of what they did with the rest of the characters as well. Burger King employee Necrodancer is very amusing, Hef and Merlin are absolutely slaying, Nocturna got one hell of a glow-up, and there is just something very amusing about Dove having an aneurysm over Illusional on easy difficulty. What horrors have you witnessed, poor girl? We can talk about it, please, just stop looking at me like you're planning my murder whenever I fuck up the yoga minigame. Even beyond the character design, I just think everything about this game's style with its color palette and presentation is just... it's very nice. I like the blues and the blacks mixed with the sharp magenta for the color scheme, it's very appealing. And I like that every song has unique album art that have all been hand-drawn and not AI-generated, Square Enix! But I digress. This game's art direction is just fantastic, and the fact that this aspect of it alone was what dragged me in should really be a testament to what good art direction can really do for a game. Anyway, let's move on to the next segment. This game comes with a story mode, and if you're expecting anything groundbreaking narrative-wise like a Xenoblade 3 or a The Last of Us, you're probably going to be a bit disappointed. Some evil force has warped the cast of Crypt of the Necrodancer from their weird fantasy realm into the real world, and weird portals full of monsters keep spawning called rifts. So Cadence and company must find out why the hell all of this is happening so that they can all go home and go back to dying violently in the crypt like God intended! The main thing a devoted Crypt player might notice that is a little strange about this game is that they've taken what Crypt considered non-canon characters like Dove and Suzu and made them canon now. And while in Suzu's case they've at least established that Cadence has never met her before, all of a sudden her and Dove are apparently lifelong besties. I mean, sure, why the hell not, but also, where did that come from? The character dynamic is pretty fun though, so we'll allow it. This series, from what I can understand, is pretty light on plot anyway, so I'm not exactly losing sleep over changes like this, but if a theoretical future Necrodancer project were to retcon this back again, I might start raising an eyebrow. I need more shenanigans with Dove and Harmony's toxic crush on her, damn it! I also vastly enjoyed the running bit of Cadence being the world's biggest hater whenever Necrodancer is on screen, and how it's clear in every cutscene he appears in, Cadence is just contemplating 623ping his Blue Man Group looking ass out of the game files for good. This is all nothing mind-blowing writing-wise, but it's a fun little adventure. The story mode also comes with 2 unique gameplay features, being a series of Rhythm Heaven-inspired minigames and Punch-Out style boss fights. The minigames are very cute, if being a little unclear on what you're actually supposed to do in them. This one in particular, where you have to dance to the beat in a mole costume, I still don't get. And as for the bosses, they're simple enough: dodge the attack and counter to the beat. But weirdly enough, I noticed that they have this very random difficulty curve. The 4th boss for some reason is way harder than any boss before or after it, and I don't know why. The 4th boss basically adds a whole new section to the boss fight's gameplay loop, and after that, the final boss's gimmick being that it sometimes fakes out being open to attack, making a sarcastic quip to indicate that it's bullshitting. It just feels really underwhelming. Like, I was prepared to have to fight like hell after how much I struggled on the 4th boss, and I did it in one try. Like, cool? I guess. I do enjoy the little credits sequence at the end though, where the main cast basically just recreate a bunch of stupid meme and pop culture references. I appreciate that a lot. Story mode is not exactly the most crazy thing out there, but it's worth playing through once for the fun dialogue and the achievements if nothing else. But once that was all wrapped up, there was only one thing really left for me to do, and that was to lock the fuck in. I set myself a pretty simple goal here. Get a full combo on every single song in the game on easy. Yeah, I suppose that doesn't sound that impressive when I say it out loud, does it? But hey, baby steps, and you'd be surprised, this game still has respectable amounts of hands on easy. If I didn't properly establish it before, a full combo means literally completing the entire song without missing a single note. It was also my aim to try and get an S+ rank on as many songs as possible, which would mean optimizing my usage of the amp and getting as many perfectly timed note presses as I possibly can, but I wasn't exactly about to bend myself backwards if I didn't secure an S+ on every song, because I do in fact have other games to play. I logged 30 hours into Xenoblade X and I am still nowhere near close to done with that game. It took me about under 2 weeks to achieve this goal of getting full combos on every song on easy, and it was rough but rewarding, and it really forced me to learn this game's fundamentals and stay consistent. One surprising thing I learned was, well, you know how most jokes about rhythm games being hard usually fall into there being like 1,000 notes being thrown at you in 2 seconds? Well, I learned that a really slow song can be just as brutal as a super fast song. The slow songs in this game can be quite challenging in the sense that they feel like they want much tighter timing out of you. You know, maybe Dove was right to be freaking out over Illusional on easy after all. But that's not to say the fast songs are easier, oh hell no. But still, all the same, learning the ins and outs of every song was an interesting process that only drove me to insanity a few times, because either there is just something wrong with my keyboard, or the shield skeletons just cheat, I damn swear. But upon completion of that task, I felt like I had truly mastered the fundamentals of the game, and I was ready for the real challenge of doing it all again on normal difficulty. I was not ready! At time of writing, I'm about halfway through normal difficulty, and that's because for some reason Count Funkula particularly just keeps kicking my ass! I'll let you guys know if I somehow manage to complete this challenge one day, and maybe one day when I've finally lost the last inch of sanity I had left, I'll try this all again on hard mode. Not impossible mode, though. I choose to live, thank you very much. I suppose I didn't really talk about the music of this game that much for being a rhythm game, huh? Like, I'm no music theorist, I bought a guitar about half a year ago and have only really played around with it since. I couldn't tell you what makes a song good or bad. All I can tell you is that my ears really enjoy what they hear whenever I fire this game up, because the soundtrack absolutely slaps, made by a decent handful of talented folks. Most of the songs in this game really stick with me. Tracks like Amalgamaniac, Disco Disaster, Spook House Pop, Hang 10 Hef, Under the Thunder, Matriarch, Eldritch House, and my personal favorite, Brave the Harvester, among many others, are all absolutely incredible. Another fun thing about this game is that the Steam version of the game comes with workshop support allowing for fans to make their own riffs for other people to play, and every popular song put into rhythm games are all here. Say it with me folks, Megalovania, Bad Apple, every Hatsune Miku song ever made. Or you know, you could just play Weezer. The game also has DLC packs full of remixes of songs from other popular indie games. At time of writing, we have a free DLC pack of songs from Super Meat Boy and a paid one containing songs from Celeste. I think I'm pronouncing that wrong. But that's not the end, with it being teased in a Nintendo Direct of all things that a Pizza Tower DLC pack is on the way. Speaking of Nintendo, I do wonder if the Nintendo Switch version of this game will see a Zelda DLC pack, because Necrodancer has tangoed with the Zelda franchise before. I think it's also worth mentioning that after playing this game, I did decide to finally pick up Crypt of the Necrodancer, and yeah, it's just as hard as my friends told me it is. I did beat the first zone though, so I'll happily take my gamer license back after it got revoked because I never finished Elden Ring. And also, I did grab Cadence of Hyrule. I haven't played it yet, but I do have it. And this game's existence is going to be my anchor for why Cadence should be in the next Smash Bros. For the foreseeable future. But anyway, for what I wanted to say really, I just really wanted to talk about how much I love Rift of the Necrodancer, and if you like rhythm games, you too should be playing this game. It's on Steam and the Switch, and it's just really fun. And is probably my game of the year for 2025 so far. So yeah, that's basically it. Like, subscribe, follow my blue sky. Or don't. I'm not your dad.